right, we've arrived here at Fuji Speedway for R's meeting. We're riding with Aki. Hey Aki. In his ISF. And now we're getting Nismo escort all the way to the paddock. Thanks to Ochiai-san from Omori Factory and his Nismo Note. And we're actually really late because we had this massive accident on the highway. We're getting pretty close. All right, we're gonna start lapping around, see what cars are new for this year, if we spot any new products. And there's a few new cars that we need to go and check out, so let's start walking. So we're gonna start here at the Nismo booth with the R35 that of course is running Nismo's new aero bonnet, matched up to the aero fenders. Pretty cool look. Of course it's finished off in the same gray as all the other Nismo demo cars. We got Tamura-san there doing his thing. And then we have the 3 CRS cars, starting with the 34, the 32, and of course the 33 here in the middle. And Aki, you're employed by Nismo today.
I'm volunteering.
You're volunteering.
Yeah.
So you're going to be answering all the questions all the foreigners have about...
Is there any English? Yeah, and I'll be at Nismo Festival too, probably. So if anybody's watching this and finds me at Nismo
come
Festival,
find him. He'll be able to answer all your questions in English and point you to the right people, right?
I'll try.
You'll try.
Yeah.
Lots of personalities, legends in the GTR world here.
All right,
So
I'm gonna hang out.
yeah, I'll do that. Not too far away, we found Midori with 134 and 132. So Midori Seibi Center is actually, I would pretty much call them one of Mainz's most closest rivals because they kind of modified GTRs with the same principle. But Midori being slightly more aggressive with the circuit side of stuff, so a little bit raw, but they really do amazing stuff, starting also with complete restorations and pretty much any type of engine tuning you may care to kind of request. And this 32 is super clean, Nismo inlet, and they have a matched crackle finish on the engine covers as well as the Nismo plenum. Carbon piping, super clean, refresh by Midori. All right, Kanazawa body repair. Again, the big thing in the GTR community now is of course restorations and keeping your GTR in really good condition, rebuilding, respraying, restoring, finding parts. So there's so many companies that cater to that. I'm sure we'll find also Garage Yoshida, which is one of the better known outlets out of Nara. We've got Ray's Engineering here with their selection of wheels, the most popular fitments here for GTRs, including some Super GT race wheels. So as I tried to speak over the race cars going past here on the main straight, we end up at Mainz, and they have their R34 demo car here on display. Legendary look, of course. I think we definitely need to do a full feature on this car. So this has been refreshed, and it's not the original car that was sold off years ago, but it's a recreation inspired to that original demo car that used to be so popular in hot version DVDs back in the day. MCR, and they have 2 R35s here on display, no 34 unfortunately. They have a really sweet 34 demo car. It's a bit of a pity that they didn't bring it. They have a very unique look here. Much like Midori, MCR was very much, I guess, a close rival of Mainz. Friendly rivalry, of course, kind of tuning cars in the same fashion, sticking to the twin turbo setup and making sure that they're both very high performing on the street as well as the track, with maybe MCR like Midori kind of going a little bit more on the track side of things. Nice cars on the NK booth here. So the RS05 RRs. Next up we have Auto Select from Osaka. Really happy that they brought their Yellow Shark demo car. I shot this 34 maybe a decade ago. Still good to see that it is one menacing looking machine. Carbon front end and that unmistakable bumper with their aggressive spoilers and diffusers. They also have nice 35 and another 34. If I remember correctly, actually this car from last year is actually owned and driven by a young girl. I don't know if she's here, but yeah, I was quite surprised to see what she runs under the engine here. Looks like they brought a bunch of other customer cars parked right behind the main booth. Oh my god, this is GTR overload here today. Just gets better and better. Let's have a look at what is making this insane amount of noise. I'm guessing a Kenmeri or a Hakoska. I was wrong, it's a rotary. Okay, let's keep going. So we have reverse here with their R32 demo car. Low mounted HKS GT-3s, custom piping. The same IP coils I run on my R34 currently. That will soon be swapped out. It's just crazy. There's just GTRs everywhere. I'm not gonna have time to go through every single one, so I'll just stop and, you know, kind of highlight the best that I can find. There's so much. This is Okubo factory. And then we hit up Global Auto, which always brings out fire at this event. They have a stock of cars that is absolutely impressive. 34 here is running a TO4Z. This one is a pretty simple Nismo type engine bay, the carbon pipes. But I'm sure what everybody wants to see is, of course, the 400R and the Z-Tune. So, of course, these are Global Auto's, you know, prime possessions. It's insane that, you know, they bring them out every year. You never really know if they're for sale, but they probably are for the right amount. Oh, ohayou gozaimasu, Tarzan Yamada, crazy driver. Yeah, there's so many personalities here today, and so many people from abroad that have come to kind of check out the event. And no matter where you go, you actually just end up finding these crazy builds. Look at this. So for some reason, this is a Z-Chu engine with a single. I'm not sure what's happening here. I'll have to investigate. So Z-Tune, is this really a Z-Tune? Blue. Custom blue interior. R35 trim on the fender. Okay, one of the biggest spectacles here at ours meeting since the event started maybe over 10 years ago now is just seeing the lineup of GTRs parked in the car park here. And this vantage point is really cool because you get to really embrace this awesome look, this awesome view. Actually, I noticed that right here there's 1 and 2 Otec R33 4 doors GTR special edition for the 50th anniversary of Nissan. We'll probably take a walk through this car park later on. Okay, so we'll start here with Sabu Live. So this is one of very few drag shops left in Japan, and they always bring their drag spec R35, which runs some, I guess, US sourced parts for the VR. Pretty crazy looking TI exhaust here from Tome. Nitrous in the trunk. And just let's, for a moment here, just take in Midnight Purple 3. Probably the best color for the 34 after Bayside Blue, obviously. Very clean car. Looks pretty stock with a polished twin turbo pipe. and a crackle finish engine. But the full spec is right here. A couple of sick 34s, Rainic engine with carbon piping, and next to it, very, very clean. I love the black on white theme here. This is something I've never really seen before. This is usually transparent, so I guess they either painted it or actually made it out of plastic. I think this 34 really shows, if you put a bit of attention to detail, that it can actually come out looking super clean. I love how even the ABS lines have this metal bracket to hold them together. Usually the stock ones, let's see if I can find it next here. The stock one looks like this, the plastic part from Nissan. I've changed about 3 of those so far. They always end up yellowing and cracking, so I think I've been through 2 or 3. And Shibata tire with the R33 that he had on display last year. Of course, running the actual tires that they make, and they even make wheels now. So possibly a new thing for this year. Shibata wheels. Let's take a closer look at the actual rim. So Shibata Motorsport 5-spoke, 65,000 yen for GTR fitment. So a big name in, you know, GTR or pretty much any JDM car tuning is Tomei powered. They always have a cool booth here at Rs meeting, showcasing some of their products and of course merch. I really love this design, Tomei powered, kind of replicates the highway sign here in Japan. So this is a new product for this year, the water connector. This is a really cool way to actually see how long a GTR exhaust is, from turbos down to the titanium front pipes, titanium cat replacement pipe, and then the Extreme TI, which now is offered with a sub silencer here, so a little bit quieter, I think, compared to the one I have. And of course, the Tomei turbos here. KW has a booth this year showcasing their dampers. And of course, seeing that KW has actually purchased BBS in Germany, they also offer BBS wheels that have got nothing to do with BBS Japan wheels. It's a separate company, and they're all actually forged wheels. These are, some of them are cast, some of them are forged, but it's a completely different lineup of wheels and products. Trust R35 here, Nismo. So many cool parts from Trust. 3 types of inlet manifolds, 2 colors of fuel rails, piping, airboxes, a lot of stuff. You know, it's really cool to see brands like Ready, Trust to continuously develop parts for the RB. Okay, so this is Garage Yoshida. This is a built by Legends chassis, a soon-to-be built project. So what Garage Yoshida is really famous for is basically helping the restoration process. So he'll strip down your car to bare metal, dip it, get rid of any rust or oxidation, and then you know, paint it, get it looking pristine. And the perfect example here is the new BBL R34, which sports a completely new designed carbon fiber bumper that they've created. It kind of makes the front end look like an old JGTC race car from back in the day. And of course, the execution here is always meticulous, with their Mines engines built to spec for built by Legends. So many little details. They're always interesting to point out. Carbon fiber everywhere. They even redesigned the scoop for the airbox in their own unique design. And of course inside too, we'll have to take a look inside. I will definitely be doing a feature on this car. Completely custom, ultra suede interior, custom coloring, and over here you can see the unpainted version of that carbon fiber bumper. So what Yoshida really is good at doing is kind of parts like these. So these are basically complete replacements for the suspension turrets at the front. So this is a massive rust spot for GTRs. So he will literally cut out your stock suspension turrets and re-weld his version in this position here. So right here, and get rid of possibly one of the most biggest problems that GTRs have. Okay, so this blue R34 is the other BBL car that they built specifically for this event, or at least to unveil at this event. This does not run the same bumper as the white car. It's a little bit more of a simpler execution. There's that Mines carbon fiber diffuser, some Rays Engineering custom painted 21As, AP Racing brakes all around, finished off with some carbon fiber parts at the back. Talk about the attention to detail here that built by legends. Obviously this is like a painted stripe to resemble the Mines racing line, and then new design carbon mirrors. Okay, so in the interior we have ultra suede across pretty much every panel, very smooth and very tightly upholstered too. And then here we have custom dials, custom steering wheel, and then everything is covered in ultra suede all the way across the headliner too. 8 pillars, little speaker in there. Even the MFD cover is done in ultra suede and padded. No stereo, I approve of that. We do not need stereos in GTRs. And a nice netting here on the R34 speaker cover. It's just so well done. Even the little coin holder is done in, it's kind of like flocked finish. One cool little detail I noticed of the BBL is it looks like it's almost anodized, but it's basically the Mines exhaust finished off in a black kind of coating. All right, we're gonna lift up the BBL bumper. Apparently it's very light. Oh my God, you gotta be kidding me. Did you weigh it? This must be like 2 kilos? Not even. It's ridiculous. Wow. So you can actually see the difference between the mirrors on the white and the blue BBL car. So this has that bluish tinge. This one has a clear coat. So Mines actually used to do like a green. Actually, we'll have the car right here. So as you can tell on the actual demo car, it's kind of like a green tinge on the mirrors. So the BBL TV2 basically blue R34 has a blue clear coat haze to it, and then the white one is just clear. I actually like the bluish look. Of course, it doesn't really matter. I got rid of these mirrors a long time ago. Right, so we move past Top Rank here. These guys are the biggest exporters of GTRs in Japan right now, and they have a shop in California that retails what they can find at auction or through owners here in Japan. And we're gonna keep walking because there's a bunch of other shops. There's another single turbo conversion on this RH934. T-Get Works, again those big Porsche Cayenne based IP coils. VCAM and another single. Possibly one of the most expensive Nismo parts. Like if you actually manage to find this original Nismo titanium strut tower bar that used to cost 69,000 yen was the catalog price. You see them on Yahoo auction for like 1 million yen now. It's absolutely crazy, if not more. I haven't checked in a while because it's all gone a bit crazy. Rush Factory with their 35 track car. And another one. And then legendary shop Junauto with their wide body R35. Of course, these guys are still doing a lot of engine and machine works. They have a fully stocked machine shop that pretty much will take care of anything you want done to your engine as you build it. Arttech Hanatsuka R33 drag car with C28s. I approve of that. Big turbo. We move into the top secret booth here, where it's very much 35 heavy. Of course, the legendary top secret front bumper completely changes the front end of the 35. And they have one RB26 powered car here sitting on some OZ racing wheels. Of course, Top Secret actually collaborates with OZ wheels in Italy. They make sure they have the correct fitments and sizing for R35s, and of course every other generation of the RB powered cars. There's also a rear bumper. This is a T-Spec. This is Smokey's personal demo car, parked up next to a slightly older R35 that wears their slightly wide body because it's just extended wheel flares. So this event is actually officially supported by Nissan. So they get a bunch of cool cars from the Heritage Collection and the Nissan showroom in Yokohama. So we have a brand new Nismo R35 and the T-Spec with that new bumper design. Again, you guys tell me if you like this bumper design. It's definitely different. I actually prefer it more in the Nismo. So GTR magazine that actually organizes this event has brought its lineup of magazine project cars, so 32, 34 and 35 onto display. And it's really cool because if you're missing some issues, you can come here and check out what they have from their archive. You can see they have even the very first 000 before the actual first one came out. I'm okay with these though. Catalogs, best album, and then the latest 173. And in front of the GTR magazine car is a true legend. This is the HKS 0R. I haven't seen this car in a while. I actually shot this back at HKS Technical Factory. And it's always a treat to see what really was, you know, the very first of many. You know, everybody does their own version, their own kind of like interpretation of GTRs, but this was the very first. And from HKS Technical Factory, where I last saw the 0R, we go to what used to be an HKS shop and is now just called Kansai Service. They have a pair of cool R35s, but I'm particularly interested in this gray one here because it actually runs the Yokohama Advan Oni 2s 20-inch 3-spokes that were shown last year at Tokyo Auto Salon. It's actually the first time I see them fitted to an R35. I'm not sure. What do you guys think? All right, so right next to Yokohama is HKS, and finally we see the HKS carbon piping fitted to an actual car. So we've been through 2 generations of this piping kit at the last 2 auto salons, and this is the very first time I see it fitted to an actual car. And I have to say, it looks very different from most piping kits in that it seems to be very much compact. It tucks in really nicely into all the space in the fender, and the pipes
kind of resemble the Nismo inlet pipes, but of course everything else is carbon fiber, right down to, I guess, the intercooler piping. I guess they'll be releasing various versions of this to fit the R33 and R34 because, of course, all the sizing is a bit different. A bit of Fast and Furious action here. All right, let's keep moving. I spot another midnight purple 3 R34 running the Sea West Aero, which is exactly the same as the one we just saw on the Fast and Furious 34. Not really. Oh, it is carbon fiber. Interesting. So they've kept the hue of the purple over the carbon fiber, but have allowed the fibers to shine through. From Rush Motorsports. When you see a crowd like this over a GTR, it's usually something special, and this car really does not disappoint. So this is one of Garage Active's carbon fiber creations. The entire car is wide body and carbon fiber. Pretty sick looking thing. And when I mean the whole thing is carbon fiber, I really do. There's a joint line here where the carbon roof meets the pillars. And then HKS's latest single turbo. This is definitely GTR paradise. So this is Pro Shop screen with a few customer demo cars. It's incredible how well these cars are built. I mean, look at the fenders on this thing. So they've taken a Nismo Z fender and cut the lower part off and added, I guess, carbon fiber outlets, kind of like GT cars. And then this custom carbon fiber skirt that continues rearward. Very nice, something different. Phoenix's Power usually has a really massive lineup of cars. This year they've brought 3. They have 2 35s and 1 33, and very much built in their unique style. Very shiny, very showy, but very clean and very detailed. I'm loving the BBS RIDs on this one. And then this crazy R35. Look at the size of this wing. Runs on Hoosiers. So obviously a track car. Oh, it's good to see something a little bit classical here. So this is what the old timers here are looking at. Ken Marriott GTR. The rarest of the GTRs. Not very many were made, and these things are worth probably close to $1 million right now. Prices, of course, keep going up. This is a very clean, unmolested, and unrestored example. That legendary S20 straight 6, 2 liters NA, 150 horsepower. This is where the GTR history comes from. So basically there was the Hakoska before this, 2-door, 4-door, and then the Ken Mary. Then the oil crisis hit and the GTR was put on the shelf. All right, so we saw how the BBL R34 did a JGTC inspired front bumper. Well, this 34 has had a JGTC inspired rear fender. It's basically like grafted onto the body, carbon fiber, and it just gives that GT proportions to the back of the 34. Guess they still need to work on the actual blending in of the fenders and extended Z-tune fenders. Yeah, this is an ever-evolving project. Every year something different has been onto it from Kravitz. So on display here at the ryukijapan.com booth is another rare gem. This is the GTR 50. Not often you see these, and especially one that's actually being used. Brake dust on the wheels. That's what we like to see. With some red highlights, continuing this side with full black and red trim. Beautiful thing. very unique. And of course, it's the rear end that really hits hard. Okay, so on we move. This is a Doloc built R32 GTR. Again, running Ignition Project coils. I actually just picked up a new set of coils because they moved on to creating like the R35 smaller based coil, so it can actually fit underneath the original OEM cover. I don't see any here, but these guys sell full kits for a variety of engines. This is for GTR R33, 32, and it's all ready for plug and play. And they have an addition here. Basically, it's a brand new kit that actually has sensors going to each coil, so you can actually trace the voltage. So if you have any disruptions in ignition, you can actually see on the graph where it happens and kind of figure out how to address it. Okay, some carbon goodness on this Doloc R35 GTR and BBS RIDs. So it's interesting that Magarigawa has a display here at Rs meeting. So this is a new construction that they've just finished in Chiba. So basically it's a racetrack with storage facilities and villas, private villas that you can purchase or rent. So you can enjoy your car-themed weekend at the racetrack. And it's of course very, very high-end stuff. 3.5 kilometer track with an 800 meter straight. That's what it looks like. We'll definitely have to visit, find an opportunity to go there and shoot some cars maybe. I think it'll be phenomenal. So as you know, I've just fitted an Ogura racing clutch to my 34, and they have a display here today, and this is the clutch I am currently running. So twin plate carbon fiber, Pro Carbon, and there's of course a very wide variety of other models, metal clutches. Of course, you don't need to just go for the high-end carbon fiber. And one of my favorite shops here in Japan is Naprec. Hi gozaimasu. This is Nagoya-san from Naprec, the founder and owner of the business. So Naprec is really well known in Japan for being like a really famous machine shop. Basically, any demo car, any race car that's being built in Japan, usually the heads get CNC ported and polished, and valve seat cuts here at Naprec. So they have a really cool display here where you can see the services that they offer, and you can see the difference it makes from like a stock setup throughout the different packages that they offer. We get the whole setup here from normal to high response, all the way down to like full drag setup with bigger valves and crazy valve seats there. They do a nice overall kit for the RB26 throttle linkages. You can clean up and refresh your little throttles here with these products. So if you've followed the JDM scene or GTR tuning specifically, Otek Tsukada is definitely a name that you should be familiar with. Oh, konnichiwa. Famous photographer from Japan. And they've always built some crazy RBs, but it's all about the R35 for them now. And they have this insane track car on over fenders. Not too familiar with the engine spec on this, but it must be pretty wild. Right next to it here we have Cool. So these guys are all about the show look. So these guys do custom paint jobs, engravings. They do these crazy effects before painting, metal work. So they actually widen your fenders like they should be widened instead of riveting and sticking over fenders on. Different approach, but still something that's quite popular in Japan. This is something different. So this four-door ER34 with a GTR conversion of the front actually runs an RB30 NA, no turbos, just headers. So this looks like it's based on the Otek edition RB26 DE that came in the Otek version
of the four-door R32, a car that we've seen many times, or at least I've seen many times at places like Rocky Auto, because they literally use that engine for RB, NA, RB30 conversions, stick into the NA, Rainic, Raymax engines. They do really cool cam pulley covers, all billet, and that helps me not having to tilt down over the engine. But yeah, I'll do it anyways. Very clean setup. And over here we go more towards the interior side of things with Robson Leather. So these guys here at Robson Leather are really the guys to go to in Japan for, you know, taking this to this. Their upholstery kits have been super popular in the GTR world, especially R34s. And I hit them up when they first started doing stuff with the GTR, and I got my center console done in carbon fiber and got some carbon leather that they did back in the day. But they do full-on stuff for seats and even dashes now. So if you want custom stuff done, hit them up. They also have ready-made parts like shifter boots or handbrake boots. So as I was saying, they also do really nice dashes. So you can see this one here, done in Alcantara or suede, not really sure, and lots of carbon trim. So we're actually walking through the GTR magazine owners section. So every year GTR magazine invites owners to line up their cars and then get their pictures taken, and then a small feature will be done in a future GTR magazine. They usually do a separate little volume called the owner's book, and this is where they take the pictures. So there's a lineup of a few photographers here. They park the cars and shoot away. And there I was thinking that I was the only guy with a green GTR. This is actually painted, not wrapped. And it's always cool to see such a massive grouping of GTRs of every type and generation. So many different styles of tuning. It's almost too much. It's insane if you look at it. I mean, look at this. It's like a sea of GTRs. And this is actually one of my favorite things to do, is just walk through this car park and take a look at what people actually do to their cars. You get a little bit of inspiration for some mods that you can either emulate or get inspiration from, or maybe things you didn't even know you could do. Like this guy, for example. This guy's embraced the green contrasting everything, including the repeaters and the Omori factory logo. That's quite interesting. So this is a very typical Phoenix's Power build, running BBS LMs, very clean, to the point. But if it's Phoenix's Power, you know there's always something crazy happening in the engine bay. And pretty sick Midnight Purple 234 from Revolve. You can see how the color flips from green to purple as you move across. So this is a really cool build from Gifu, inspired to the old school Group A race cars with a side exit exhaust. And just look at that sky. Unfortunately, Fuji-san is covered up today, so we can't really see much, but as always, Rs meeting is always a great turnout. Here's a nice pairing, two Alltech four-door GTRs. Always nice to see these cars running aftermarket parts like wheels and slam down, because after all, they're just as tunable as their coupe counterpart, right? So why not tune them up a bit? so we've actually pretty much have been across the entire Rs meeting displays, but I really wanted to take a look at this car park and just walk through the cars, much like the GTR magazine area where people are taking pictures for the next issue. I always like to come and have a look at what's on display, and you can really tell how Bayside Blue really fades over the years. This is a freshly painted car and one that's been obviously sitting for a while. You can see how the blue kind of loses its contrast and just gets really light. This one's got a Nismo Z-tune fender, R-tune bonnet, Nismo version 1 bumper, and I love how the lineup is split between 34s, 33s, and 32s over there. Midnight purple, full Nismo. This is something interesting. This guy's put stoppers on his and a cone on his V-Spec 2 Nor. Well, I kind of get it. The car's probably worth $500,000, so he doesn't want people to come close and fiddle around with it. Here's a V-Spec 2 that really shows the issue that these bonnets have. I'm not sure if you're able to see it, but you can really see the pattern of the carbon fiber kind of sag a little bit in square portions. And this R33 is something out of like the history books. It runs an ABFlug aero kit, so front bumper, side skirts, and rear bumper. And then it has interspeed center lock wheels. I remember when these came out, probably like early 2000s. You can see the logo there. I don't think the company exists anymore, but they actually created a hub conversion to go over to the single lug. I always thought they looked pretty cool. Something very rare. And GTRs for days. Look at this thing here. Interesting look. Nice Slam 33 with copious amounts of dish on the OZ wheels. Another 4-door. An LM on stock rims, and it looks like stock suspension. This is possibly a completely stock car. Let's see if the exhaust is stock. No, aftermarket. But yeah, this is the championship blue R33 that gets that extra logo on the C-pillar. Nice blitz wheels on this 32, very period correct. And now we're in between the 33s and 32s. My God, look at this. He's gone for the full Nismo look with the stripes on the side. Another 4-door. I think I must have seen like 8 Alltech 33s today. 3 sick R35s. And what a sky behind it. Fuji Speedway is always such a cool place to shoot at. Some R35s out on track. Very powerful stuff by the sounds of it. Back. Oh, there's a little hatchet here. Something different from possibly too many GTRs. Hit up some of the 32s here on the way back to the main paddock. Look at this lineup. I'll leave you to enjoy that with the sound of very highly modified VR38s shooting by in the background. So many. And you'll notice how R32 for the main part. Oh, this is sick. As I was saying, R32s for the most part tend to stay with the stock factory bumper. Not a lot of people end up changing much aesthetically on these cars for the most part. I think it's possibly the purest form of the GTR, the R32. I don't think you really need to do anything to a 32 except maybe lower it and put decent wheels, and that's it, you're ready to go. And there's so many examples of that here. All right, so that wraps up the Rs meeting coverage for 2023. I hope you enjoyed walking through the paddock with me. This is definitely GTR heaven. So I can't wait to come back here in a couple of months and do Nismo Festival, where we'll be seeing a few of these GTRs that we've seen today, along with a ton of other Nissan race cars and the historics from back in the day. So make sure you check back soon for more videos, and thanks for watching.